Good morning everybody, it's the middle of February, it's freezing cold, we're in the middle of lockdown, but I just had to bring you this video even though it's so cold. But I've got to talk to you guys about wild areas, patches in our gardens that we can give back to nature. More than ever, right now, it is essential that we all try and do our bit, and this is our bit. I know it looks a bit rubbish this time of year, it's all died back. But believe me, there's potential, there's inspiration, there's wonderful moments waiting under the ground down here. And we all need to do this. We need it for our well-being. We need it for our environment. We've all got to do our bit. And I'm going to tell you all about my little bit, my patch that I've done just for nature. In all of human history, this is the time when we have caused the most destruction. We have taken so much from this planet, from its resources, from its landscapes, from the habitat, from everything. We have to give something back. We are all responsible for this. And we all can do something. That's the wonderful thing. This is my garden. This is my wild area. As you can see, it's not only just beautiful and diverse, it gives something back. We're at a stage where we've taken so much from the landscape, so much of the surface area of the land is dominated by human behaviour these days, that we have to give something back from our gardens. They've estimated to avoid any future collapse of biodiversity of the species on this planet, we need to allow 1/3 or 30% of the landmass to be wild. We can just say that 30% of my garden, 1/3, I'm giving back to nature. In this case, I've done it with my wild area. Not only does it look absolutely beautiful, but the sense of well-being that you get by having wildflowers in your garden is tremendous. But I appreciate also that lots of people might not have that space in their garden. And here, look, we've got them integrated into some flower beds, even tiny flower beds, even just a little bit at the end of your garden. We all can make a difference. Give it a go. You'll feel so much better. Look at these things. Aren't they stunning? Wildflowers attracting insects in flower beds is all we need to do. Every little bit, big or small, we all contribute. I even appreciate, look, little tiny pots like this. Tiny, tiny changes in our lives can make such a difference to ourselves and to nature. We also can dig ponds. Ponds are really useful, really interesting. They encourage so many species. Invertebrates, amphibians, fish, birds. You cannot beat a pond, no matter how tiny it is. Honestly, if you can get a little teeny bit of water like this little tiny pond into your garden, your diversity will absolutely bloom. Talking of diversity, what's the biggest area in our gardens? It's our lawns, isn't it? And what do we always do? We keep them perfect. We clear up all the leaves. But I've discovered, don't clear up the leaves, leave them. They form the perfect mulch. We put fertiliser on them, we put mulch on our flower beds. Why do we do this? Why do we clear up these leaves? Leave them where you find them. All the inverts will come up, they'll feed on them. It gives the ground protection, it fertilises the lawn. Try and leave your leaf litter, that way you benefit, and of course the inverts, the diversity of your lawn will benefit as well. But if you've got too many leaves, of course you can pop them in a compost heap. Here's our beautiful compost heap. What I love about compost heaps is you create another warm environment for these little beauties. Look at this, a slow worm. Slow worms are a legless reptile that love compost heaps. They love the heat, and also by encouraging them, it gets them to feed upon the slugs and snails that come in your garden. Come on guys, if we get diverse, we can have nature's own predators to clear up the pests for us. Another obvious thing to do, if you can do it, again, if you've got the space to do it, plant trees. We need so many trees. This is an oak in my garden, but I appreciate, again, not everyone can do this. Even if you just plant one tree or have one tree in a flower pot, it will make such a massive difference. We've lost so many trees, so much of our natural habitat across Britain these days. We need to be able to create this urban forest, this urban jungle, this wonderful urban place in our back gardens. The result? Gorgeous fruit like this. This is the fruit we've got in our crabapple. Not only it looks the part, in the springtime, oh my goodness, the blossom on these things is absolutely exquisite. If you just get these trees, it creates diversity. Here we've got a beautiful beach. Look at the colour on this thing. Absolutely stunning. Creates all this habitat, creates this three-dimensional world, attracts the inverts, attracts the birds. It looks stunning. Why wouldn't you plant trees in your garden? It of course then brings the birds in, it brings the inverts in. Diversity of the look of our landscape. We hold this power in our hands. We've taken from the landscape. We're now seeing the repercussions. It's totally up to us to give a little bit back. 1/3, 30% of our landmass, of our gardens, of our flower beds If you can do it, then fantastic. If all you can do is a tiny little postage stamp piece, maybe a window box, maybe a little tiny flower pot, a pond, a tree, the end of your flower bed with a few flowers in it, your lawn with leaves on it, a little pile at the end, a log pile, maybe a compost heap, maybe allow some wildflowers into your lawn this year, maybe not mow as much, maybe leave a little area of your lawn a little bit wild, invite it back in. The results are magical. It's a wonderful experience. I recommend you try it today. The power is very much in our hands.